Google Cloud next. There's been 260 announcements, and you're sitting there wondering what ones are important. So me and Rowan have distilled it down to two areas that we're going to cover in the next 3 minutes. The first area is Gemini Enterprise, and this is the application for enterprises that's kind of like the next level up from the normal Gemini application that allow you to build agents, secure with your data, and have it all governed like an enterprise would need it to have. The second part is the agentic data clouds, because at the end of the day, these agents need data and context from your organization to feed from. So Google's investing a lot of time and energy in helping you enable those agents with your organizational information, no matter where it may be. So let's dive into the first set of features that have been announced for Gemini Enterprise. Remember, that's the application. The first headline feature is the agent designer. You've always been able to make agents, but they've always been made using the ADK agent development kit. At the end of the day, it's a graphical interface where end users can go in and create some of their own agents.
I think if you're not a bit more technically capable, then all of the stuff that you just mentioned, Victor, is kind of gobbledygook. But this means for like the average Joe, the average user like me, can actually interact with Gemini Enterprise and build agents for whatever we're trying to automate or make more efficient.
Absolutely. I mean, the first thing that we did when we heard that, we actually set up an agent designer workshop for the rest of the team. So we want our entire team at Cobry and all the teams and their customers building some of their own agents using the agent designer as well. Really, really curious as to how that's going to grow. The second improvement that we're seeing when it comes to agents are the long running agents. So before, what you'd been able to do is have a conversation with your agent, have a conversation with large language models. You maybe have been able to stretch that to a bit of deep research where Google says, right, come back in 5 minutes and you'll have a report ready. But when we're talking about long running agents, we mean long running agents, as in hours, days, if not maybe even weeks when it comes to these agentic loops. So Google and Gemini Enterprise are investing in creating a harness that allows you to send those long-running agents out. And the complementary feature to those long-running agents is the inbox, or the agent inbox. Google understands that you can't trust agents 100% to just go off and do their thing autonomously, especially not for hours, days, and weeks. Inbox is almost like the pit stop for an agent, where they come in, refuel on new context, you give them the thumbs up to say that what they're doing is good, or the thumbs down to say actually what you're doing is bad and you need to maybe recalibrate, and you let them go again.
So this is different from like my Gmail inbox, because when you say inbox, all I think about is all the unread emails that I've still got to reply to.
I don't think it's much different. This time it's not going to be unread emails from people, it's going to be unread messages from agents.
What would be an example of a task or a workflow where I'd use one of these longer running agents?
An example might be month-end reconciliation. Agent would pull invoices from our accounting system, get the supplier information, look at discrepancies, and leave a tidy summary in your inbox at 9 a.m. Or think about this as like competitive monitoring, something that happens on a loop. Like, competitors don't sleep, especially when they've got some of their own agents. So you've got to be able to fight back and do a bit of monitoring yourself using that kind of long-running workflow. You know, from a HR perspective, it might be candidate screening, right? Especially today when everyone's applying using AI and then looking at CVs using AI. You're able to use a long-running agent that continuously looks at CVs that are coming in and is able to give you a scoring or a rating of them live.
I can just ask the agent and it can do a lot more of the work for me without me having to do manual steps or parts, like disjointed parts of the process.
This is almost like Google's secure, governed enterprise version of having these OpenClaw bots.
So should we move on to our second area?
Yeah, second area, the agentic data cloud. An agent is only as good as the data can see. So most companies have data scattered across, Drive, SAP, Salesforce, AWS. Google is kind of betting against the migration here. And Google is saying, hey, if we've got Gemini Enterprise and the agent engine running here, there's no reason that it can't just go to those individual services and individual data stores directly. So this is called the cross-cloud lakehouse, which is a bit of a mouthful, but all that essentially means is that your data doesn't have to move. Google can index it and Google can understand it.
If I'm using these other solutions, I can now pull in that data and use them in Google's data solutions with their AI without even having to migrate it?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, right? You still might have to migrate some things that aren't supported, but for most organizations, yeah, just tag into your AWS, tag into your Azure environment, you've got something on GCP, and the agentic layer that interacts for those LLMs and the underlying data, Google have built essentially almost like a layer or a harness, whatever you like to name it, that allows those agents to interact with that underlying organizational data, no matter where it is. Organizations have data everywhere, and most of the time organizations don't really know what that data is, what that data serves, serves and what purpose it's sitting there in your data storage environment for. So this is where Dataplex has been renamed to Google Knowledge Catalog. The idea behind the Knowledge Catalog is it maps your entire business, what customer means at your company, how you define revenue, and encodes it in a way that agents can make sense.
Is it kind of a little bit like the semantic layer that you describe?
The Knowledge Catalog are your ingredients to giving you the answer, and the semantic layer are your measures, or therefore the instructions as to how to use those ingredients to get you the answer. So imagine, you're at your chef and you're baking a pizza. What you need is you need all of your ingredients. So where's the pepperoni? Where's the flour? Where's the water? Where's the starch? That's where you go to your Knowledge Catalog. The second part, you need to actually know how to make the pizza, right? And that's what the semantic layer is for. The semantic layer says, okay, given that you've got all of these ingredients, these are the instructions as to how to actually put them together and give you the results that you need. To wrap those two areas up, the way that I look at this from like a competitive point of view is you've got, Microsoft has Copilot, OpenAI has ChatGPT, but Google's pitch with these announcements, agents need data needs context, and context needs trust. They are the only ones that are building this under the one roof.
So Victor, you just described two of the most important areas in terms of updates and announcements from Google Next. What about if folk want to hear more from you and maybe learn how they can use this specifically for their company?
I mean, that's our job at Cobry. Drop us a line. That's all we need to do.